Yeah, I mean, where can we, go to support this wonderful endeavor that is Wild Bear?
Well, there's 2 places to check out. It's, wildbear.org, which shows all of our programs and all the things that we do every
Uh-huh.
day. And then there's gowild.wildbear.org, which is all about the brand new nature center we're building, which highlights, a lot of different parts, including the indigenous, part of our programs and our development of the nature center. So wildbear.org and gowild.wildbear.org. And you can always reach out there and send a little form and say hi, and I'll find it.
I wanted to touch on optimism as a value because, here at the Bubble, what really sparked this idea that, that manifested the Bubble as it is today in the reshaped form. Even though Richard's the most one of the most optimistic people that one can meet, and he was already doing great work in that regard. It's now based on this belief that nature is inherently good, and that if we just align ourselves with nature, that, also meaning in another sense that you're aligning yourself with the value of optimism and thinking through things optimistically and acting optimistically. I wanted to get your, 2 cents on that. What do you make of optimism, in your own view? What does it mean? Even today, because we've been working on this AI thing for some time now alongside Rich. It's called Optimism AI, and it's hopefully going to be out by the time this interview is out. And while we were making it, we took this. We did a sort of study on the past philosophers and what they thought of optimism, and you find all these different views. Aristotle's rational optimism, and then there's Aurelius, which gives a variation of that through his teachings and meditations and so on and so forth. So what do you make of optimism personally?
I think in this time of electronic immersion and social media and lack of touching something real every day, I think we can easily move into a time when we're depressed and anxious, and which translates into negativity and destruction, right? And I think that in terms of my own, I easily can shift into that. I can easily shift into, and we all have to be balanced. There's one thing that we could do. We could focus in on one thing and not notice the other threads that pull us in different directions, right? So if we focus in on all that it's negative that is happening in our world, which there's plenty of, and we don't balance that with all that is beautiful, all that is positive, all that is optimistic in this world, we will be pulled into one direction and it'll become quite destructive, right? So for me, um, the research is very important to acknowledge that if we are not balancing our world in with being with something real. For example, in today's world, in this Western civilization, many people will get up in the morning, have their social media time, eat a little breakfast, walk down the stairs, go into the cement parking lot, get into their car, drive into a garage, get out, walk into a cement parking lot, go up to their office, maybe look out at nature, go down into the cafeteria within their building, get back in the car, go back into the garage, go into their home, and never really touch anything real. Because what I define as real is something that's not man made.
Hmm.
So personally, I think that it's very important to acknowledge that we are nature. And if we don't continue to align ourselves with something that's real and in nature, we will become very negative, in deep despair, and it's really a source of violence. So optimism to me, optimism is that we balance our lives into not ignoring the stuff that's going on, but find yourself in peace and joy and centeredness in the simplicity and the beauty and the air and the sounds of nature. And even that can happen in the big city where we think there isn't nature. It's not true. There's nature everywhere. So it can be as simple as finding that park bench, finding that worm on the sidewalk, listening to that bird, and noticing something in the night sky.
Hmm.
That helps us all be more centered in joy and optimism.
Wonderful. Wonderful.